Our adventure begins pretty much where we left off. Limelight Crackle has been promoted to princess status and was off to her first princess summit to do, I don't know, princess stuff I guess. Well, we're off to a pretty good start, sounds lame. But then this particular scene happens.
You're nerve-excited! It's like you want to jump up and down and yell, yay, me! But you also want to curl up in a teeny tiny ball and hide at the same time!
Now you want to take away Transformers too? What more do you want? But I will admit, these couple seconds were way better than these three movies combined. Yeah, I said it, I went there. Anyway, they get to the castle. She bumps into this guy, who surely won't be important to the story.
I haven't seen you since the coronation.
Neither have we. And they get shoved off to bed.
Ugh. Just trying to get comfortable!
Okay, look, I know what we're all thinking. And no, I'm not gonna make that joke. It's already been made a million times. Moving on. And then we get this.
My little pony.
It's not that it's crazy good, but it's a step up from the show's intro, what with its trippy visuals and Loopy Fruit's music. But it's going to take more than just a trippy intro to make me think that this video is going to be worth watching. But faster than you can say any of these characters' long name, the plot arrives.
What? Oh. My crown! She's got my crown!
Sorry it had to be this way. Princess.
That was Sunset Shimmer.
Sunset Shimmer,
I already said that!
a former student of mine. She began her studies with me not long before twilight. But when she did not get what she wanted as quickly as she liked, she turned cruel and dishonest.
Sunset Shimmer was impatient with her studies, ran away I guess, and came back and tried to replace the crown hoping that no one would notice. Some would say what's the point of the dummy crown when they resolved that issue so quickly, but in the story, she was hoping that she wouldn't get caught, so it made sense that she would leave a fake crown. But still, stupid plot hole, right? Anyway, Sunset Shimmer escaped using this magic mirror some time ago and had returned. We learned that the mirror is a portal to another world and was sent to this princess to guard. Some would say, geez, why would you leave such an important mirror just left out in the open unguarded for them to just stumble through and the crowd would fall through? Well, someone had to unlock it, right? Still, plot holes. Spotlight Rackle is informed that she has to travel to this other world and retrieve the crown. The problem is that if she doesn't do it quick enough, it'll close for another, I don't know, long time I guess. And of course, the game follows. Or do they?
I'm afraid I can't let you go. Sending all of you could upset the balance of this alternate world.
Great Scott! I know, this is heavy.
But this doesn't stop Spike from following, because apparently his worries are more important than the universes collapsing on themselves. And then they actually included the reaction of fans when they found out that they were going to be people in this movie. Flashlight Pickle has become human, and Spike is a dog. Because I guess that's the equivalent of a dragon in our world. A dog. I don't know, it's already weird that he can talk. Getting a hold of herself, they decide to venture into the strange new dimension of hands, legs, and pollution to find the crown and save everyone. I guess, I don't know. But let's take a little detour to the controversy surrounding some of this. After the announcement, some parents were concerned about the appearance of the characters. Some thought that they looked too anorexic and perfect that they could possibly set a bad image for little girls and make them self-conscious. And to which I can sort of understand, because after all it is only human nature to want a copy. And Hasbro couldn't show this off more plainly. But that's none of my concern, because my problem is with what some other parents thought was the reasoning behind the making of this movie. Some speculated that this move was to satisfy the older fans. Yes, because we all wanted a movie about high school teenage girls right after we got used to the idea of talking ponies was being okay. If anything's going to wake me up from this, it's gonna be this. Thank you, Hasbro. In this strange new world, she finds that she has lost her greatest means of defense.
Magic.
Without her magic, she's pretty much just an ordinary plain purple person. She stumbles about, tries to figure out where she is, and bumps into this guy. who surely won't be important to the rest of the story. Then we get this little music video.
Everything's confusing when it seems so new. But I look a little closer and it starts to feel familiar too.
And I gotta admit, this scene was worth watching in theaters. It was like Wreck-It Ralph but for MLP. Every time a background character from the show would appear, the crowd went crazy. Cheering, yells of joy. Watching it at home, it felt oddly quiet. So, that doesn't mean anything. Any crowd reaction could rub off on someone. They could be cheering for drying paint, and I'd probably feel some sort of reaction to that. But no time to talk about that. We found the plot. Which brings us to a very important element of a film, the villain. A good villain is one that stands out in the story. For the most part, they tend to be more interesting than the hero because the villain represents everything that's bad in humanity. They're selfish, evil, yet what makes a good villain is the tragedy behind it. What drove these characters to become who they were? Never mind, I'd rather not know yours. And Sunset Shimmer does not display any of these qualities. Other than the tidbit that we know that she was impatient, we don't know why she's so mean. She's just played out to be the typical high school mean girl, snaps at people, and is very, very mean. However, it doesn't feel as much as I would hope. In other movies with undeveloped villains, it's hard to want to hate the person because we're not emotionally invested. But in this case, the way she treats these particularly already established characters from the show, it makes you really want to hate her guts and want to see what happens.
You really are pathetic. It's no wonder your best friends are all stray animals.
Who cares about her backstory now? We just want to see Miss Plum beat her up or something. That and it's my miniature horse. I mean, how good a villain could they possibly make? Okay, so maybe this is a little bit below average. Then we get another particular scene that's odd. Once Sunset Shimmer goes away, we get a human version of these two meeting, and it's done like the show.
What's your name? I'm Fluttershy.
It works in the original because it's the first time they meet, and she's obviously shy. But here they're seen talking.
I can't believe you did that. Well, it's just that nobody ever stands up to Sunset Shimmer.
And then she gets quiet.
I'm Fluttershy.
Sorry, what was that?
It's Fluttershy.
Did she forget she was shy and then remember? Screw it.
Sunset Shimmer said you picked something up. Something that belonged to her. It wasn't a crown, was it?
But I didn't want anything to happen to it, so I decided to give it to Principal Celestia.
She goes to see Principal Celestia and is informed that the crown is the prize for being voted Princess of the Fall Dance. Instead of just saying she needs the crown, she decides to take the unnecessarily fun route and chooses to compete. This leads to some exposition on Sunset Shimmer and how she always wins, but it also takes time to show how in this world people are separated by social groups. Pretty interesting that they took this route because it's not like they try to sugarcoat reality.
That comes later.
And they presented high school in a somewhat more realistic way. Loud, full of energy, and groups of kids separated to certain groups. Until later, I guess. She meets the human version of the pink one. Really guys, I'm working on saying all the names. I really am. Look, watch. Pinky, Pink. And Twilight Princess signs up for the ballot. We also get to knock off another character while we're at it. We get reintroduced to Applejacks. And we also get some more villain time.
It ain't necessarily gonna be your coronation this time around.
Oh, is that so? You country folk really aren't that bright. Must be why the other students say such awful things about you.
My initial reaction when watching this was raised eyebrows. I felt like it was a low blow, and my wanting to see this character blasted to the moon heightened. And I always felt that if you really despised the villain, they couldn't be that bad, could they? Also, we get introduced to her henchman, Bulk and Skull.
Yeah! Dreamers! Have fewer balloons!
Snips and Snails. Now, some fans complain about these characters being placed in the wrong role, and I can kinda see why. In the show, they weren't portrayed as villains. They were shown as immature boys who followed around a false idol simply on her word. But this is the human version of these characters, and if these characters were human, I wouldn't put it too past the spectrum of reality that they would be mean and follow this character who probably makes herself out to be greater than she really is. And besides, if they invented 2 new characters to fill in these roles, fans would probably be complaining that they invented 2 new characters just for the sake of being henchmen. So I thought it was better that they at least picked out these pre-established characters who could kind of fit the mold depending on how you see it. And to me, I thought it worked. I can't phrase it much longer. We get a confrontation in the hallway that could really use some maintenance, and the fight is on. And then we get a pretty fun cameo.
The great and powerful Trixie! Need some peanut butter crackers.
And some more fan service. It's like this movie is a never-ending canon of references. Please, movie. Stop. But no time for that now. It's time to get some humor. But all that is going to have to wait since Bulk and Skull have been sent by Sunset Shimmer to videotape her every move. And for what purpose? Well, the next day, having researched everything she could about the school and the library, she goes out to make a good first impression. And is found to be laughed at by everyone. Rare pulls her inside a classroom and disguises her. Why, you ask? Because apparently high school kids know how to make pretty funny campaign videos.
Twilight Sparkle wants to be your fall formal princess.
I take that back. It's pretty bad.
What I thought it was pretty funny. With the partial group back together and backing her up, surely they'll pull through in the end, right? No. In this universe, they're not friends. Well, at least they're not anymore. They were. Apparently, they all have one reason to dislike each other. But who could have done something like this? How will we ever find out? It was her, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. Though we never actually confirm or deny this. They all just discover that someone had been sending wrong invite dates, emails, and all sorts of messages that let the group feel that they didn't need each other. For all we know, it could have been this guy. But no time for that now, we still have one more character to meet.
So you're looking to dethrone Sunset Shimmer. I'll totally help you out. All you gotta do is beat me in a game of one-on-one. What?
So anyway, they play their game and... Wait, I need to say something. And they play their game and... Wait, I kinda wanna watch this. Okay, fine. I'll admit, this scene is pretty cool. Don't judge me. But just the combination of the music and the soccerness, it makes for a pretty awesome scene. That and RD does a hurricane kick. So anyway, she wins, she loses, and she helps out anyway because the game was just a test to see how gutsy she was. I guess, maybe she just didn't have anyone to play soccer with and really wanted to play soccer. And this leads to another meetup with this guy. Surely he won't be important to the story.
Don't even think about it. Who knows what Sunset Shimmer would do if you ended up getting her ex-boyfriend, too.
What?
I'm not trying to. I don't even know. We just accidentally... Ex-boyfriend?
Maybe he will be important to the story. But enough about that.